GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues.
If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow,
Comma, semicolon, period, next sentence.
to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JayRich.
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
And Jay.
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's get it, baby. Let's get it, GMGP. It is Friday, November 7th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is, the Canadian, the double down king himself, Jordan Richard. You can find him at your boy JayRich. It's Wake Up Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every single Friday. Freaky Friday, Feel Good Friday, and if you want to, have something up a little bit today on this Friday. Jay, we got a lot to talk about. Your boy, Bo Nix, got another win last night. Brock Bowers didn't do anything. Your boy, Bo Nix. We got to talk about all the other NFL games in action this weekend. Injuries, some players that are going to be in the action, some players who may be missing this week, JayRich. Some big-time players, some big-time names. We'll see if the games are better than what we had last night. But we got the people in the building, man. Got a lot of people in the building in the chat. We got one right here. Gino needs to be benched. Probably. Look at this. GAGP, Sacramento Kingpin from Germany, going to that Falcons-Colts game this weekend over there in Berlin, Germany. What's going on, Gretchen? How you doing this morning? GMGP to you. Mark in the building. Let's go. I see you, Mark, with the Eagles joint right there in your avatar profile. Broncos only good for IDP. Let's go. Nah, I mean, Dobbins was all right. A lot of dancing out there. YouTube is rolling out showing ad handles to reduce impersonation. Okay, that's why it is, JayRich. That's why they've changed from people's names, so they can't be like, oh, I'm Ray Garvin, right? Or I'm Jordan Richards.
Treat it more like social media, right?
Yeah. I guess so. I got make you put pretty soon. They're gonna make you put your real face on old YouTube. You can't hide behind the keyboard. JayRich, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Got a good night's sleep. I mean, we had a snoozer of a football game last night, so that was good.
It's always good when you get the sufficient amount of rest, right?
Slept in, which is great. But yeah, it's feeling good, man. We got a good slate of football this week, even though yesterday, not the greatest way to kick it off, but I hope that the games will deliver. We got some good matchups this weekend, some great ones next week as well, so it should be a good couple weeks of football.
Jay, let's talk about our main event next Wednesday.
We do have our mid-season mayhem on November 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me, you, Scott, Shane, and many more guests, prizes, segments, debates, mock drafts, and so much more. There is plenty that is coming. Our 3-hour premium live stream event on DDFFB, Mid-Season Mayhem, November 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should be at least 2.5 to 3 hours, maybe even more. The more people we have in there, the more fun we have, the longer it'll go.
I can assure
you. Never know.
Don't you dare tell I can assure you it will not go past. What's 3 hours? What's that?
If the people show
100,
up,
200, 180 minutes, right?
If the people show up,
120
you
minutes.
never know. You never know. Right? If we have 2,000 people in there, are you going to sleep? I'm not.
Yeah, we'll shut it down. We'll absolutely shut it down. 3 hours is the max, but it's going to be a good time. We're going to have fun, pull up, all things fantasy football, dynasty, redraft, all of that stuff. Man, look at this, JayRich. We gotta make this thing a little bit smaller right here. Those Week 10 games, it's not doing right, Jay. But I did drop a pod late last night, early this morning. It came out early this morning. Make sure you check it out. Went through some stuff. Looked at a mock, post-NFL draft mock from Trevor Sikkema. And post-trade deadline mock, Trevor Sikkema. We talked about the mock. But more importantly, talk through the wide receiver class here in 2026 and comparing it to what we just had in 2025. So I highly suggest you check out that show. It's right now on the it's on the podcast feed now, but you can find it right here on YouTube, right where you're watching this show at. So check out that show. 2026 wide receiver class, is it better than the 2025 wide receiver class? And then Jay, the Trinity is posted. Check that out. Bowers was on there. Parker Washington. Bowers didn't do nothing last night. We'll talk about that. You see Alec Pierce there, Zay Flowers. So Scott Connor and I going through the tool, talking through usage. And yeah, make sure you pull up, check out all those shows on the channel. Jay, there we go. We got that thing fixed, baby. It was a little too big for that little white box down there. You had to get that a little bit smaller, JayRich. But you want to talk about it, man? You want to talk about Thursday night?
We can if you want to.
We got to. I think we owe it to the people. That's what they're here for. They want to see. They want to hear your analysis on that Raiders 7-10 loss at Denver. Denver 8-2 on the season. You talk about fraudulent teams, JayRich. I just want to ask. I mean, how fraudulent are these Denver Broncos? Bo Nix got the dub, but man, he was Uncle Rico in that thing all night. I mean, he was just. I saw a tweet out there that said, Bo Nix throws the most confident deep ball, and then the camera pans to where the football is actually traveling, and it's 3 defenders around. The receiver is triple covered every time. There was one throw to Troy Franklin that was tipped and intercepted. A lot of people say the pass wasn't even to Troy Franklin. It was to Pat Bryant, who was in front of him, but it missed so badly, it skipped the first level of receiver, made it to the second level, was tipped and picked off. Talk about the game. Geno Smith didn't do anything. 143 yards, man. We had what? 100 and how many passing yards combined, JayRich? Just pathetic.
293.
Wow.
293 combined from both quarterbacks.
That's Joe Flacco in the first quarter, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got that the whole game.
Yeah, it was definitely not a good game from either side. And I think it's crazy because early on, the Raiders looked like, oh, maybe they're back again. You know, obviously against Jacksonville, they put up 29 points. They come out, they score pretty early against this Broncos defense. Said, maybe we got a game here, especially with how much Denver struggled early. And then Denver scored a touchdown, and then Vegas couldn't do anything. And then they kicked a field goal. Vegas still couldn't do anything. The fourth quarter came, and the game was over. It was one of the most boring games I've ever watched. And what should I expect, right? It's the Denver defense versus a putrid Raiders offense, and a Denver offense that can't move the football for whatever reason. Last year, Bo Nix threw 29 touchdowns. This year, I don't know how many he's thrown, but it feels like he throws one a week. And I think he's still got that streak, right? Where he's like 18 straight games with a touchdown pass.
Hey, man. I bet you didn't know this. It's tied for second in the NFL in touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix getting it done.
Getting it done. Isn't it? It doesn't feel like it, does it? He's tied. I know y'all can't see it on the screen, so they're probably like, Ray, I don't believe you. There it is. 18 touchdown passes for Bo Nix on the season, Jay.
Crazy.
18. He's tied for second in the league.
It's unbelievable that they win game. Like, the fact this team is 8-2 is crazy. They're playing. They're winning games in spite of their offense, which is
the offense is playing bad.
The offense feels like it's in the bottom 5 in the NFL.
Yeah,
and the running game is pretty good. But Bo Nix just can't get out of his own way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not taking sacks. Ray, the story of last night's game, honestly, was the punting. The punting was by far the biggest story. Both good and bad. It was one of the weirdest games I've ever watched, but the punting in that game was horrendous. If you want to see a funny clips and you missed the game, go watch the punting. But Troy Franklin scored, though.
Yeah, Franklin scored. We are currently, you see right here, Geno Smith has surpassed Tua Tagovailoa in interceptions with 12 on the season. No other quarterback has thrown more than 8 interceptions on the season. What the Geno Smith experience in Las Vegas has not gone according to plan. Jay, a lot of people were very excited. Seattle fans were very disappointed that they moved on from Geno Smith. How could we do that? He wrote home. No one wrote back. Now you're looking like, I'm so glad we got damn Sam Darnold. I'm so glad. I'm beyond thrilled that we have Sam Darnold as our quarterback. Not good for Geno Smith. Brock Bowers, JayRich, after going 12 for 120 and 3, he had 1 for 3 and 0. Didn't have a target in the entire second half of the game. I mean, talk about from high to low. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions, of fantasy points, of expectations. 1 catch, 30-something yards for Brock Bowers, nothing else, Jay.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, how does that even happen? And especially when, he's being covered by Jahdae Barron, who's, 5'9", 185, right? Brock
Yeah.
Bowers is a beast. How come you can't find a way to get him the ball more? I mean, Denver's defense did what they do. They're one of the best defenses in the league, especially in the secondary. They were able to limit Brock Bowers throughout pretty much the entire game. But if you ask me who the second leading receiver would be, I definitely wouldn't have said Tyler Lockett with his 5 for 44.
Tyler Lockett.
It seems like the band is back together again in Las Vegas with Geno and Tyler Lockett, and with Deontay Thornton dropping passes down the sideline and Jack Betch bringing back big rushes on holding calls. It's probably not looking too good for the rookies out there.
Yeah, nothing from Bash, nothing from Thornton taking away a Trey Tucker touchdown. There's memes about Bo Nix last night. Can we score? And it's Conor McGregor. Look at this throw by McGregor, just tossing the ball as Bo Nix, and then
chucking it.
Here's one right here. This is from Joel Smith, one of my colleagues over at Yahoo. After a couple more misses tonight, Bo Nix is now 1 for 24 since last season when targeting Troy Franklin 30-plus yards down the field. So probably does not need to throw the ball 30-plus yards down the field. And then here's this other one I saw. Bo Nix. This was a picture of old Bo Nix. That helmet facing the other way. JayRich, do you think Bo's taking a little too much heat? Y'all told me last week, you came on here, hey, J.J. McCarthy got the win. Doesn't matter how it looks. He got the win, and he got it done. Are you giving Bo Nix that same level of grace today? Got the win. They're 8-2. Driver's seat.
Right,
Number one seed in the AFC, man. Let's just go. Number one seed, Denver Broncos. Are you giving Bo that grace today that you gave McCarthy last week?
I mean, Ray, why is this any different than the past, 5 weeks of the NFL season for Bo Nix? It's not just grace this week or based off of what I gave for J.J. McCarthy. This is what Bo Nix does. Whether you like it or not, he's going to win the football game. 5-0 at home. I think they've won, 7 straight games now? They're playing great football. Not offensively,
look at AJ
but they're doing
said
enough to win games. So
AJ
it just is
said
what
it in the chat. JayRich said, man, the disrespect on Bo Nix in here is wild. Dude is 19-9 in the regular season, second in rookie QBs, TDs all time. JayRich, all time. NFL history, second in passing touchdowns on the season. It's not pretty right now, but damn.
Yeah.
AJ Wood said, damn, why are y'all so disrespectful? Give him that level of grace, right? Got the dub. Number one,
but it's
driver's seat, baby.
The funny thing is that this is the same conversation we had about Trevor Lawrence when they were winning football games in Jacksonville, right? When they're winning football games and everything's good, we say, Trevor Lawrence isn't playing that well, but it's okay because they're winning football games, so things probably aren't going to change. And now that they're losing football games, it's like, well, Trevor Lawrence should probably play better if they want him to be their franchise quarterback. I don't know what they're going to do with Bo Nix. I don't know what Peyton's doing. I don't know what the offense is doing.
He's cussing him out.
They seem
he's on his ass in the back
than they were last season, but he's trying to get the players involved. He's making some plays, certain drives. They look really, really good, really strong, very balanced. And J.K. Dobbins is running the football very well. But outside of that, I mean, it feels like 20% of the Denver drives are actually successful, and the other 80% are an absolute disaster.
Right here. Can we stop the Bo Nix reactions? Let's just settle on him being a good starting quarterback. 1 week he's the GOAT, next week he's the biggest bust ever. I think a lot of people just don't like Bo Nix. Even after last season, it was the pre-draft narrative. It was they shouldn't have taken him that high. And when the bads happen, people like to pile on. He's just an easy player to dislike because people didn't like him coming in. But you can't dispute with the numbers. I mean, he's second in the league, tied for second in the NFL in passing touchdowns, Jay. His team is 8-2. He's the quarterback of that. Launched 2 interceptions, but found a way, as he has all year, to get it done, 10-7. So
hey, he beat the Eagles, man. You forget that.
I don't forget it. I'm just asking questions, right, Jay? I did pose a question to social media last night, and I have not looked at the responses from that question. I'm gonna do it right now as I pull it up because it's the last thing that I tweeted out. We got 25 responses, but I wanna ask you a question about your boy Ashton Jeanty. Because I think Ashton Jeanty he's been fine this year. I think he's been fine, not great. But you see right here, I said, where does Jeanty get drafted if you redraft the 2025 class today? JayRich, if you redraft the 2025 NFL draft where would Genty go today? He was the number 6 overall pick this past year. He's been awful, so he doesn't need, he's a UDFA. But, like, do you think he would still go inside the top 10? The more that this goes on, man, I've never been one to say I wouldn't draft a running back in round 1, because I think at the back half of round 1, if you find somebody that's a difference maker for your team and you think they can add to the rotation, you go ahead and do that. But I don't know if I would ever advocate for taking a damn RB top 10, top 15. That's just me personally. Where do you think Genty would go if we redrafted the 25 NFL draft today? Like we talked about, Jackson Dart would probably be QB1. He'd probably go number 1 overall. Do you think Genty would still go 6 to the Raiders?
Oh, so you're talking about in the NFL draft?
Yeah, the NFL draft. The NFL draft.
Ooh.
Would he still?
I think he'd probably still go close to top 10. Right?
Okay.
Because I think the thing when you talk about where he was drafted to a situation where you kind of knew he had an uphill battle. But if you change that situation, make it more neutral, he's probably a bit more favorable right now. Like he's 5th in carries, 14th in yards, 16th in touchdowns. So he's got almost 500 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns. I think that's total or on the ground. So it's like he hasn't been disappointing in the standpoint of like he's gotten the volume, right? Step 1, are you able to get that workload week in, week out, dependable? Yes, Ashton Genty has that in Las Vegas. The offensive line is a massive problem. Geno Smith is a massive problem, right? And you can't overcome those things. But when you talk about drafting him to another team, you know, those middle rounds, you know, Chicago at 10 would have been a great spot, even if, you know, he's not going to go to Indianapolis. But if he went to Indianapolis, right, like that's another great spot. And they have Jonathan Taylor, so that's not going to happen. But there is teams in those middle rounds where if he goes there, he's probably a little bit more successful. But I still think from the very beginning, when we talk about him in the realm of Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, his skill set's not the same as those guys, right? He's a primary rusher.
I agree.
Who can catch passes.
I agree.
Right? And that's the big takeaway here is that Gibbs and Bijan, where they were drafted, their impact on the field in multiple facets of the game, even though it took Bijan a year to really get going because of Algier and mostly because of Arthur Smith, I don't think you say the same about sorry, I'm trying to say Bijan. I mean Ashton Genty, because he has so much market share within the offense. If you have this much market share and you're only delivering what he's delivering, you can excuse it to one of two things. It's either the offense sucks with the offensive line, the quarterback play, and just the overall success. So there's not that many plays to be played. They're not very successful. They're not scoring points, which is definitely a factor here. Or you think he's just not the guy that you hoped he'd be out of Boise State, who was one of the most dominant running backs in college football history. And I think both of them can be true. He's playing at the NFL level now. We've seen flashes of him being great, but the offense for the Raiders is a massive problem. But the question to you is, how much grace do you give Genty because of that? Because how long is it going to take for this situation to turn around?
Yeah, I've been pretty much a Genty supporter all season. I don't think it has been... I think both could be true, right? Like you said, I don't think it's been the type of season that people expected. He hasn't been able to run through the NFL the way that he ran through the Mountain West. You know, he had a couple of games where he was physical and he put his head down and had some big monster performances. But by and large, this is not the Ashton Genty show week in and week out. I think it just shows you how you know, those guys on the defensive side of the ball get paid a lot of money as well. Like you say, he's 5th in the NFL in rushing attempts. He's 14th in yards. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns. I always talk about, if I'm going to take a running back that high, me personally, I always talk about the difference between running backs that can catch passes and running backs that can be deployed as pass-catching weapons. He is not a pass-catching weapon, right? Maybe that pass from Geno Smith was a little too hard, a little too high, but that's something you got to come down with. It led to an interception. I don't know if he would go 6. I don't think he'd fall out of round 1. I don't think he would be a top 10 pick, and I just don't think that when you're talking about team building, right, from a team that needs a lot, think about the running backs that were found later on that are just as, I mean, you could get them in round 3, round 4, round 5. I just...
Like, Ray, it's not even to disrespect Genty, but like from what we've seen at the NFL level, do you think that Cam Scadaboo could do more for the Raiders than Ashton Genty
Probably
does?
not. Probably. I think
because you have the receiving element, right? He is a dynamic receiver. So for a team with a poor offensive line,
yeah, but it's hard to just be like plop him right into the Raiders and now he's better because the same problems still exist. The offensive line is still bad. Geno
Not
is still
better,
bad. The
but I'm saying a
offense
better
isn't-
fit for the offense.
I don't think so. I don't think I would. I'm not going to go that far. I do think that you can find competent rushers for your offense if you don't have that level of player. I think Genty's going to be good. Like, I don't. This isn't Trent Richardson here. I don't believe, but it's also not Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think he's Saquon Barkley. I don't think he's some of these other guys that were drafted, at the top of the class. And just by and large, it's not really moving the needle for the Raiders being a better team either. So they needed a back. They got Genty. I think he's fine. Maybe a little over.
I think the question people are going to have to answer is, when do you start to believe? When can this situation
you got
turn
years,
around,
man.
right? When
you got
do you
years,
buy
man.
in?
You got years. You got years.
You got years, but how long are you willing to wait?
Couple years. I mean, the same as why not? I mean, he's a rookie. He's a rookie running back. Extremely high draft capital. He's not going anywhere. This isn't a question of panicking on Ashton Genty. It's not a question on moving on from Genty. It's truly, would he be drafted 6th overall in the NFL draft? And I think the answer to that question is no. We got to get to the weekend slate, though, JayRich. We got a Sunday game in Berlin. We've got the Jets versus the Browns. We've got backup quarterback in Houston. We've got big Josh Allen versus Miami. Your boy Drake May versus Tampa Bay. No Bucky Irving again after the bye. Bucky's still not practicing for Tampa Bay, so it looks like it's going to be Rachaad White, Sean Tucker once again. You've got what should be a high-scoring affair with the Giants and the Bears. We got J.J. McCarthy versus Lamar. Rico Dowdle back in practice. Your boy Tyler Shuck out there. Jacoby Brissett traveling to Seattle. We got Detroit, Washington, and I did see in the chat, some people said no ligament damage for Jaden Daniels, no IR for Jaden Daniels.
No IR.
That's what I saw in the chat.
Wow, that's
what I saw in the chat.
Surprising.
Go check it. Go check it for me. Go check it for me. Go fact check, guys. Somebody said no IR, no ligament damage. Will not be
avoid
scribbled.
surgery after MRI revealed no ligament damage to his dislocated elbow. 4 minutes ago. Avoided surgery after MRI revealed no ligament damage to his dislocated elbow.
So
look, man.
What was the injury? So it just they pop that shit back in, and in a couple weeks he's good.
We'll see, right? It's one of those things for me. Like, he may have no ligament damage, but I don't know how long it's going to take for him to feel normal again and confident holding the football and all that kind of stuff. Like, I guess we'll see. I can't remember the last time we've seen a quarterback with an injury like this to where they came back. Again, it's just this team is so bad. Why are we rushing Jaden Daniels back?
That was my initial thought. Why?
Like,
let him,
why is this even a conversation?
Let him chill, dude. You're not winning.
Yeah.
You're not winning this division. You're not making the playoffs. It's Washington, man.
But
people
feels
keep
like
telling me
they're making the
different
same
regime,
mistake,
Ray, different,
right? Feels like they're making
different
the same
staff,
mistake.
different this. I'm with you. Why do you even want him back? I mean, I know why you want him back, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
Let him chill.
How does this benefit us long term to rush him back again after they already kind of rushed him back the first time?
They say he's fine. Are you buying it? Like, what do you in redraft? Are you dropping him? We got 4 weeks left before fantasy playoffs, man.
I mean,
we'll
you can't
see.
drop him, but when are you confident in starting him? Like, if he's the first week
Never.
he starts, I'd say probably not. But it is his non-throwing arm, so like
It
worst
is his
case,
non-throwing arm.
maybe he's more likely to fumble because that stability isn't quite what it is normally. But I don't know how long it's going to take for a dislocated elbow to heal. It sounds pretty bad, though, for a guy
Kevin
who
said
throws the
Khalil
football,
Mack had it, and he's back playing, but full brace on that arm and elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's okay.
We'll see. Right here, we got one right here. Got a comment right here. Dan Quinn is not playing him this year. Mark my words. He's not trying to get fired for playing him and getting him hurt again.
That's the correct
That would
response,
be
in my
that
opinion.
would be my take
That
on the
feels
situation
wise.
as well. But breaking news a few minutes ago: no ligament damage. And did you see no IR? Did you also see that as well? No IR.
I didn't
see
no
that
IR,
part yet, but
I just saw no ligament damage.
okay. All right. Well, let's ride Jaden Daniels. All right, JayRich. This is a Friday show this is a show for the people. Where do y'all want to go, Jay? Where do you want to start with? What game do you want to start with?
I kind of want to start with Minnesota and Baltimore.
All right, let's talk about it. Minnesota, Baltimore, Lamar and J.J. McCarthy. The Baltimore Ravens traveling to Minnesota. What do we got? Spread-wise, we're looking at a 4.5-point total, 4.5-point spread. Baltimore favored on the road, 49.5-point total in this matchup. JayRich, we kind of talked about it on Bleacher Report. I picked the Ravens to win this game. I think Baltimore is going to go in. I was looking at some advanced numbers. Minnesota over the last month, not good versus the tight end position. So I think Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews can have big games. They've been bottom 5 at the NFL at defending the tight ends so far this season, and maybe that's a byproduct of them blitzing so much, putting linebackers in one-on-one situations. But I think there's a spot where the tight ends for Baltimore can be successful in this one. But talk about why you think Minnesota gets it done with JJ.
I'm just not sure how I feel about this Baltimore team, right? Getting it done and Lamar playing well against Miami is kind of expected. How he manages the pass rush here from what we expect to be a lot of blitzes from Brian Flores, I think it's a different conversation. They are getting a little bit healthier. They played very, very good against Detroit. And I'm curious to see how JJ is going to look in his next start. It's his 4th this season now. He looked decent at times against Detroit. We know Detroit is a good team. Defensively, they're not the strongest, but we always give them credit, especially when they're playing on the road. And so for JJ to go into Detroit, get a big victory over the Lions is notable. Now they return home, playing against the Baltimore Ravens, a place where Baltimore's never won, in Minnesota. And I'm just curious how this defense is going to play, because they have improved, but I still think that Kevin O'Connell is going to give them fits because they're not strong enough defensively yet. I think they're coming together. They're playing much better. But I think the balance that they're probably going to have in Minnesota and what they're going to do in the play action game is going to give Baltimore some trouble. So I think they can at least go toe-to-toe in terms of points. And it's going to come down to is Lamar able to put up enough points on this Vikings defense, manage the rush? Because he was dealing with, I believe it was a hamstring injury, right, that he was dealing with.
So was that Lamar?
Yeah, and we saw even against Miami, he wasn't running that much.
No,
right?
He didn't want to run a lot.
The way that Lamar
he didn't want to run a lot.
normally runs. And so if he is blitzed, he'll be able to get away from the rush, but he's probably not going to be running a whole lot, which I think limits their upside in terms of the offense and the way that they play, because we know how much this offense relies on Lamar. But how do you feel about Derrick Henry? He's kind of the one player I'm not so sure about whether he can get loose in this game versus Viking defense or not.
Well, let's look at the key advantages in rushing versus light boxes. Ravens number 2 in the league, the Minnesota Vikings number 23. Some of the key advantages for Baltimore offensively, they're deep passing 13th in the league, Minnesota dead last. And that did speak to some of the stuff that I saw with them defending the tight end. So it depends on what they do with the box. Do they load the box? Do they keep it light to guard against some of the passing? When you're looking at, you said rushing for Baltimore versus Minnesota, outside the tackles, 8-20, rushing in the red zone, 26-13. Overall rushing efficiency, you've got 8-22. So Baltimore's, on paper, by the numbers, they've got the advantage in that department.
Yeah.
If they want to run the ball against Minnesota, they should. On the other side, Jay, looking at where the Vikings have some advantages over this Baltimore defense, not many, JayRich, by the numbers. Not many advantages for the Minnesota offense versus even what has not been a great Baltimore defense, but you're seeing the numbers right here. So I think Baltimore gets it done, and Lamar has a big day on the road, and we'll see what this Vikings offense looks like. I mean, they normally come out pretty hot. They normally come out and they look good strong. Those first 15 plays, and then quarters 2 and 3, it's a little bit of a roller coaster for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway for me is, like, are we going to get, man, it feels crazy to say a complete performance from JJ where you get, 2 or 3 solid quarters where he's playing good football. And of course, they're going to have their issues, right? NFL teams make adjustments throughout games. And in the second quarter, at halftime, going into the fourth quarter, there's always going to be these little nuances that change how a game ultimately unfolds. But this is what I'm really excited for. I did pick Minnesota. I think Minnesota can win this game. I'm curious how well this defense can play. I think they did find something last week against Detroit. I think getting some of their key pieces back is going to be great for this defense. And I still personally think Baltimore's defense is a little bit suspect. So we'll see how they ultimately play. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very good game. And I think this is the type of game where if Lamar has a really good performance, that's when you start to hear the Baltimore is back. They can win the division.
You need one more. They need one more. They need to do it one more time. They need to do it this one on the road.
I think doing it against Miami is kind of expected. Beating a Vikings team on the road, I think, is much less expected, especially after they came off a big win against Detroit.
I got a question. We got a question from Jason in here, and I want your thoughts on this one, JayRich. Let me pull it up real quick. In Dynasty, would you trade Jaden Daniels for Mahomes straight up?
Yep. I think you probably should.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that if I can get Mahomes straight up. Sure.
I feel like
absolutely.
You're limiting your downside a lot.
You think so?
Because, I mean, outside of his 50 touchdown season, this is probably the best Mahomes has ever looked.
He's looked good. He looked great.
Right? Like,
he
because
awesome.
how much
he
he's
looked like
running
shit
the
versus
football
Buffalo,
now.
but overall
Yeah.
he's looked good. He looked bad versus Buffalo, but overall he looks good. Yeah, I would trade him straight up from Mahomes. Man, at one point, wasn't Mahomes like QB1, QB2 in Dynasty, and then all the stuff he can't throw deep.
QB2 for a while, right? Yeah, then he can't throw deep, lost Tyreek Hill,
this
offense is broken. Now it's looking good again.
I mean, the reality is the sport in itself for all positions, whether you're a quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, O-line, D-line, cornerback, safety, kicker, it's a 100% injury guaranteed sport. You're going to get injured. You're going to get hurt. But I was listening to more NFL players just say the more opportunities you open yourself up to get hit, to get touched, it just increases your chances, right? And that's why so many people were reluctant on Travis Hunter playing both ways. Get hurt in practice, doing defense, you're playing offense, you're doing more and you're opening yourself up to the possibility a little bit more. Not that you yourself are any more injury prone than the guy that's standing next to you, but the guy that's standing next to you, when it's time for offense to go on the field and he's a defensive guy, he stays on the bench, right? When the defense goes, he's not playing both ways. So
it's wear and tear.
With Jaden Daniels, he's going to run. You know what? You know what's probably not it's probably not the last time JD5 gets hurt. Hopefully it's not his damn elbow pointing the other direction, and it's not debilitating. It's not something that knocks him out for the season, but I can almost guarantee you if he continues to run around, he'll be injured again. So,
for sure.
You know, what do you want to do? Even Mahomes gets hurt, right? He runs around, scrambles, tackles from behind, boom, high ankle spray. Now he's hobbling around. If you can make the move.
We always talk about it with these rushing quarterbacks. It's like, who are the quarterbacks that do a good job protecting themselves?
There's only one that doesn't get hurt. There's only one rushing quarterback that's never gotten hurt. It's Josh Allen. I don't think he's ever been hurt.
Not really, no.
I'm talking about where he's out and missing weeks. He's like the only tank. Jalen Hurts has been banged up. Burrow's been out multiple times for the season.
Well,
Lamar's been hurt, misplay. The only one that hasn't been hurt that runs around is Josh Allen.
Pretty good for that too in terms of protecting himself.
Who?
But Kyler
missed time all the damn time.
He misses time, but he usually does a pretty good job protecting himself. Like, we don't look at Kyler and say he's reckless in the way that he runs.
He may not be reckless, but he's injured quite a bit too. It's Josh Allen's like the only one that's a tank. Like that's it.
And Hurts is pretty good for how much he runs. He's missed time, but he misses like a game here or there. Versus multiple weeks, IR stints, that kind of stuff. So he's usually pretty good for that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I see people talking about the Bears game, JayRich, the Bears and the Giants game, that they're kind of low-key, high-key, quietly excited for the game. And you and I both talked about this one, and we were on opposite sides of the outcome. I picked Chicago on BR to win. You picked the Giants, JayRich. I was very surprised by your selection of picking Jackson Dart and the Giants. The Bears are favored by 4.5 points in this matchup. There's no defense to be played, so there should be a lot of fantasy scoring available for us. On the Giants side of the ball, I mean, who are you excited to throw out there for the Giants?
Just Jackson Dart. That's it.
Is it just Jack? Are you think about that for a minute? We're excited about a game in which there's a 46.5 point total. You want the quarterback, but you really don't want to play anybody else. I mean, you will play Tracy if you have to. You will play
Robinson.
I think you can play him.
He's got 7 targets each of the last 3 games.
I think you can play him.
No. Most games he got 7
Maybe
targets.
the upside is capped, but I think you can play Wan'Dale Robinson. You could play Tyrone Tracy.
Pretty good.
Who?
Shout out Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale's actually been
that's what I mean. You can play Wan'Dale. Will you play Wan'Dale? You can play Wan'Dale.
All right.
Theo Johnson.
Well, right here's actually some added context that I didn't even think about. right? Because we talk about this incessantly. Schedules, matchups, all this stuff. This team is coming off a run of Philly, Denver, Philly, San Francisco. Why can't they find success against the Bears, right? They've been playing good defenses for the last month. And, Wan'Dale's been producing. Theo Johnson's been producing. Jackson Dart's been great. Like, this is definitely, at least on a matchup perspective, could be a much easier time for this Giants offense than they've had for the last month. And maybe that's a big factor as well, and they've still put up 24, 20, 32, 34 points. So, they've been pretty good. They've been delivering. So I think Theo Johnson is in play. I think Wan'Dale's in play. And if you want to get spicy, maybe even Darius Slayton as well, because Jackson Dart, the issue is that how many passing yards he's going to throw for in this game. Because I feel like the line would be somewhere in the realm of 200, maybe 225. And I don't think we see a 300-yard performance from Dart. It's probably more likely he rushes for 75 to 100.
Dart currently leads the NFL with 5 games of 1+ passing touchdown and 1+ rushing touchdown in the season. He's the only quarterback since 1970 with 1 passing and 1 rushing touchdown in 5 of his first 6 NFL starts. Dude, he's a tank. I've said it all week long, Jay. I've said it all week long. My other co-host, Matt Harmon, he didn't believe it. He doesn't believe it. He says it's hard for me to see the forest through the trees on this Jackson Dart thing, Ray. There's nobody there. But since 1970, nobody's done what every week, despite no neighbors, despite no Scattaboo, despite having a porous offensive line, you could pretty much pencil him in to throw one and run one every week. Yep. Just lock it in. Throw one, run one with upside for more. He's a tank, JayRich. I'm not saying he's damn Tom Brady. He's going to the Hall of Fame. But when you're talking about what we're here to discuss, scoring me some damn points, how does it get better than Jackson Dart? Versus this Bears defense that just gave up, 42 to 42? Flacco? 470. 470 to Flacco, and I get it. You got Jamar, you got T. That's a hell of a combination to throw to. But 500 yards from Joe Flacco. Dart should be able to find success versus the Bears.
And I think to your point, Ray, you picked the Bears because you think they're going to be able to put up points on this Giants defense.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I picked them.
And so if you believe that they can put up points, that means that the Giants are probably going to be in comeback mode. And if that's the case, the last 3 weeks, right? Jackson Dart, 33 pass attempts, 24 pass attempts, 33 pass attempts, all in losses. He hit almost 200 yards in all of them. He obviously threw for almost 300 against Denver. But I like that if they're playing catch-up in some of these games, there's probably going to be volume there for Dart. And at that point, you should be fine because you're getting the rushing floor. He'll get you 40 or 50 on the ground. He's done it almost every single game. He'll take some sacks. He'll get hit. People are talking about how are we not more worried about Dart and his health when we're talking about JD5? Of course we're worried about Dart. He takes as many hits as anybody. But I think there is a pretty solid floor here. And, even looking to what Slayton did, looking at Wan'Dale did, I think they are all startable if you believe there is a very high point ceiling in this game. Your rookie rushing leaders through 9 weeks of the NFL season. You got Ashton Genty there leading the way, and then his 60 yards last night will add to that. Quinshawn Judkins, Krosky Merritt. You look at those Giants, got 2 of them. JayRich, Scattaboo, 4, and Jackson Dart. More rushing yards than Woody Marks, R.J. Harvey, right behind that Travion Henderson. Kyle Monunga, 3. How do you feel about Monunga this week with Swift? With Swift back. Swift is back. How do you feel about Monunga? I think you can start him, but definitely expectations a little bit more tempered depending on... We got to see how Ben Johnson ultimately utilizes both these guys, right? Is Monunga going to be a 20-carry guy with Swift on the field and active? Probably not, but can he still maybe get 15, 16, depending on games?
I don't even think it's that much. I'm bringing it back a little further. I think we're looking at
that point, would you say he's startable if you think
I think he's a flex guy? On deeper spots. I think you can flex him, but I'm probably
sounds like you're leaning towards benching him.
No, he's flex. I think he's getting 12 touches. If you're telling me he's going to touch the ball 12 times, I'll put him in there in the flex. Versus this defense in this matchup, the way that Chicago runs the ball and he gets goal line work, if you told me he's going to get 12 to 15, I'm starting him.
Yeah, but it's more so, I think, the fact that he's not going to get anything in the receiving game with Swift active, right? That at least
he didn't do much. He got 3 catches last week, so it wasn't much there.
But he had, 27 carries, right? So if you scale back the carries, he's not going to get any receiving work likely because
that's what I
Swift.
said. I think he's around 12 touches, and if you're telling me a running back's going to get 12 touches, he's a flex option player. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, He's not getting 20-something carries. I think he's getting around 12 touches. If he gets 15, I think you're golden. And you just live with that versus the matchup with how good this offense is. I think you're good with that if that's the projected outcome. All right, let's go to break real quick. We got to talk BTJ because you've got some injury news about Brian Thomas. What's that mean for this Jaguars passing attack? Who are we playing? Who do we feel confident in? And then we got some other games that we'll touch on. Much love. Run it up. Hit that thumbs up button. Like the stream. We'll be back after the break. Let's get it. Appreciate y'all pulling up. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, every single Friday. Make sure you pull up with us. Check out the content on this channel. I put a video out yesterday. We're doing all sorts of stuff over here. The Fantasy Football Only channel, DDFFB. That is where we are going to do our premium live stream next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mid-season mayhem, dynasty, startups, rookie drafts, conversations, rest of season talk. Who we buying, who we selling, how we feeling about everything in this fantasy football landscape. That is always, always changing. Make sure you pull up with the whole DD crew. We're going to have a damn good time, giveaways, all kinds of prizes. And we're just going to have a good time, like hang out, family, chill, talk ball, have fun. And then, the video that was posted yesterday is live on the podcast feed. I'm doing a weekly show where I'm talking all things college / NFL / fantasy / team. And in this one, JayRich, going through this 26 class, man. Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Denzel Boston, Mekhi Lemon. We've got quite a few wide receivers in this 2026 class that I think if you combine them with 2025, a lot of these guys are better than the Matthew Goldens of the world. I think there are some comparable players to Tetairoa McMillan and company. Very, very good 2026 class. Also took a look at a mock draft from Trevor Sickham over at PFF following the post-NFL trade deadline. So check out all the content on the channel. Jay, let's keep it pushing. Where you want to go next, man? Where you want to go next? I need to look at the chat, see what the comments are saying, where they want to go. Shows about them, baby.
You wanted to go to Jacksonville, right? But I did want to clarify because we did get a further update on Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
So he's going to miss he's missing week 10, obviously, this week. He's going to also miss week 11. He's going to be reevaluated during their week 12 bye. But then he has to play against Denver if he comes back. I think that might even be Sunday Night Football.
That's week 13.
Week 13, at home, Sunday Night Football against the Denver Broncos is his earliest return date if he'd be available. So I think that's the reason why they're not going to put him on IRs, because he could miss the 3 games, but he's not going to miss the 4th. But even still, it's just not looking good for Daniels. But so he will be out for week 10 and week 11, okay. Week 12 bye, and he could potentially return in week 13. Is seeming like his earliest return date for Sunday Night Football again.
This feels like a lost season, doesn't it? It feels like a lost season.
Are they? It feels like a lost season. Hell no. Then they got to go to Spain to play against the Dolphins.
Where? Spain?
Yeah, that's the game that's in Madrid. Yeah, the Miami Marcus Mariota versus Tua Tagovailoa in Madrid. Shout out Madrid, but you're getting a dog shit game. Yeah. But where do you want to go with our next game?
You said there was some Brian Thomas news, right?
Yeah, so Brian Thomas hasn't practiced this week. Probably going to miss this week, right? We haven't heard anything, or I haven't read anything about Jacoby Myers yet. I have to imagine he's active and going to play in this game.
Yeah, he's got to play.
But it was also reported that Parker Washington will continue to play in the slot within this Jags offense. So we know Jacoby Myers, primarily a slot receiver in the NFL to this point. It seems like they're going to find another role for him in this offense because Parker Washington has been doing so well in the slot for this team. So Trevor Lawrence will have his top option, Parker Washington, in his role within the offense in the slot, and Jacoby Myers will probably kind of fall within the offense into some other spot. I'm not sure where exactly they're going to utilize him, but knowing that, Ray, how does that make you feel about potentially starting Myers as a flex option this week? Like, would you be concerned about playing him?
Nah, I mean, if Myers, if Thomas is out and not practicing, no Travis Hunter, and I'm assuming no Brenton Strange still, the tight end for Jacksonville. No, I haven't heard any news about Brenton Strange. So they don't have any tight ends of consequence. They don't really feed ETN or Bajal Tootin in the receiving game. It's probably going to be all Myers and Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers sprinkled in. I think we both picked the Houston Texans to beat the Jags on BR. This one feels like it could get nasty if they can't find any way to move the ball down the field. This is the defense that has allowed the fewest points in the NFL this season, despite being 3-5, the Houston Texans, even though the Rams, number one, I believe, in DVOA over like the last month. Their defense has been outstanding. I mean, how do you feel about Jacksonville? How do you feel? You know what this hinges on? It hinges on Keegan's favorite player, the golden one, Trevor Lawrence. I'm not even as concerned about Davis Mills. I don't think anybody has any level of expectation for Davis Mills at all. Like, just get in, throw the ball to Nico Collins, and try not to turn it over, long neck. Whatever we get else out of you, that's fine. I think the pressure's on T-Law in this one. I think the pressure is on Trevor Lawrence on the road to get it done, because if he does that would be 2 statement wins on the road for a Jags team still trying to figure it out offensively. Like, everything hadn't gotten going in that passing attack. Everything hasn't been roses with Liam Cohen calling the plays. But if you're telling me you got a team that went into Arrowhead and beat Kansas City, then a team that goes to Houston, and I know, it was at home. Well, all right. Well, they didn't
and that's why when you say statement win, I'm like,
well, okay. Well, I thought it was on the road, Jay.
No, that game was at home. And
this is a road game versus a good defense. So
statement win against a backup quarterback who is awful.
Well, we know the team is awful offensively, but the defense is very good, and everybody knows the defense is good. So if you can win
for sure
on the road, I don't care if it's versus the backup quarterback, their offense ain't good anyway, versus that defense without Brian Thomas, without Brenton Strange, without Travis Hunter, with the wide receiver you just got yesterday, and Parker Washington, I think that would be a big win for Trevor. That would be a big win for him in Houston.
But do you think it would also be a bad loss? Because I think one,
hell
they're
yeah,
favored,
it'd be a bad
right?
loss. Yes, both. I think it'd be a bad loss too.
If they lose to Davis Mills, it's a bad look for Trevor.
Yes.
Like, if the offense looks
100%.
poor, they only score, let's say, 10 points. They lose 13-10 because Houston's able to eke out one extra field goal, and obviously the defense for Houston is so good. You know, even when we talked about it, I said we're probably going to need a touchdown from this defense to even get close to a victory, but this is a defense that we believe can do it. We believe they can shut down this offense, and we'll see how this team looks out of the bye, but I'm curious what Cohen's going to do, because there's a lot of conversation about what they planned on doing outside of this bye and how they're going to look. Last week, they looked okay against the Raiders. They're playing a significantly tougher team than the Raiders this week. So we'll see how Trevor looks, and hopefully he doesn't look like he did last week. But yeah, I think if they lose this game, it's a very bad look for a team that didn't go all in at the deadline, but certainly made moves to improve and potentially make a push for the playoffs.
Jay, we got some good games in the afternoon slate. We got Arizona, Seattle, the Rams versus the Niners, the Lions versus the Commanders. It should be good for fantasy. So there's those are the 3 afternoon games. Rams, Niners should be really good. I think the Cardinals, Seahawks will be good. I am expecting Jacoby to struggle a little bit on the road. I know it was roses last Monday, right? It was roses on Monday, but who'd they play, JayRich? Who'd they play?
The Cowgirls.
They play. No disrespect here. No disrespect. They played Dallas, and that defense is not good. Much better now that we got Quinn Williams, Logan Wilson, DeMarvion Overshown on his way back. But going to Seattle, those 12s, that defense, I think this is a different animal. Road Jacoby Brissett. I'm not expecting Marv to do what he did versus Dallas versus Seattle this week.
No. Very unlikely. Very unlikely for me. And especially with how this game played out, right? You look to the game in Arizona. I think it was Thursday Night Football game. Very, very close. Darnold had some big throws, especially in the second half. I think that was the game that JSN only had like 1 catch in the first half, and then he finished the game with like 80 yards because he had a big second half in that one. But it's more so about Arizona. How did they look? How do they play? What does this offense look like in a tough environment, especially against a very tough defense? We fully expect Seattle to play very, very well. But I think it's also a credit to the Arizona defense, right? They played well against the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to see how well they play against Seattle. And then the other side of it is, how involved is Rashid Shaheed going to be in this game? Because I think we expect him to play and be active. But how involved is he, and how does he impact the other players within the offense? Because I think a lot of people coming into this week would say, well, maybe we can start Torrey Horton because Cooper Kupp is still very injured and he's coming off a big 2-touchdown game. But
is Kupp back in? Is Kupp back in?
I think he's still not practicing, if I'm remembering what I was scanning
all right.
this
I'm about
morning.
to say, go stop.
But it's more so, would you start a Horton or think about starting a Horton as a flex, even though they traded for Shaheed this week?
No.
I think the answer is no as well.
No, not this week. No, not with trading for Shaheed. They need to get their ground game going. They can't run the damn ball right now. I don't know what Kenneth Walker's doing. No one's talked about him. But remember that would you rather, and we got buried for not wanting that Kenneth Walker. Where's he at on the season? What's he done?
Struggling, man.
What's he done?
And he gets vultured at the goal line by Zach Charbonnet. Because that was put in Charbonnet at the goal line.
Hell, they put in A.J. Barner last week to run one in from 1 yard out. They didn't even give it to the running backs. They said the hell with them. I think Seattle. Would you play? You playing Shaheed in this one?
Deep leagues, I think. I don't think I would start him because I think that especially with Kubiak will have a play probably dialed up for him. But if he doesn't connect, he's probably getting a goose egg, right? He may get you, like a 60-yard touchdown, like a 10-pointer type of thing. But
I'd play him, Jay. I'd play him.
You think so?
They traded for a new toy. They got a plan in place. He knows the offense. Yeah. I think he's plug and play. And Sam Darnold's been amazing this year. He's on fire right now. He's on fire right now.
So Horton has a groin injury and didn't practice Thursday, but Kupp actually did practice in a limited fashion on Thursday. So that gives you more confidence that Shaheed will be an option for them this week for sure.
Yeah, I will play Shaheed this week, 100%. Yeah. I will play Shaheed this week. Let's talk about your boys, New England, Tampa Bay. New England, Tampa Bay, you got the big quarterbacks, right? You got Baker back off a bye, Drake May coming in, road game. He's undefeated on the road this year, but the only quality road win has been Buffalo. Other than that, he beat the Dolphins on the road, he beat the Titans on the road, and he beat the Saints on the road. So it's a little different task going into Tampa Bay. I did pick the Buccaneers to win this game. I really don't know what to do with New England's skill position players, Jay. I'm going to be honest with you. Feels like you could play Hunter Henry and then you get out there and he does nothing. Is it Pop? Is it Diggs? Is Booty playing or not? I think he's out this week.
He's probably not going to play with this.
He's not going to play this week. They're talking about Kyle Williams. I would not do that. I don't give a damn what Vrabel said. Do not get cute and try to play him. Running back, is Ramondre practicing? Are we back to Terrell Jennings? Is Jennings and Henderson again?
For now, it's trending towards Jennings and Henderson for another week. Again, I don't know if I care that much because this Bucs rush defense is still one of the best in the NFL. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Ramondre Stevenson. But he hasn't practiced yet. Maybe he get in a limited practice on Friday and still play in the game. But it's going to be a tough task, right? Drake May going on the road, playing a very tough game once again. We saw what he did in Buffalo. But I think that Tampa Bay is a different type of task for them in this game, especially for the defense, because their strength is stopping the run.
Number 4, design runs. The Patriots offense 29th. The Bucs defense 4th. So massive advantage to Tampa Bay. I mean, rushing efficiency. Look at New England. 28th in overall rushing efficiency this year. Tampa Bay 6th best.
Yeah. But we know that though, because they haven't been able to run the football effectively.
I know.
Regardless of who's back there. The offensive line hasn't been very good at pushing guys back and creating running lanes, and that's just been where they struggle. But the other side of it though, Ray, is that the Patriots haven't allowed 50 yards to running backs the entire season, right? And with Bucky Irving not projected to play in this game, that's probably going to be interesting to see how they play them. Christian Gonzalez will be back and available in this game. The other side of it, for me, that's interesting because I was just reading this right now, actually, making sure I was up on injury reports. Jeremy Fowler reported yesterday that the Buccaneers are thinking, Ray, wide receiver Chris Godwin could return in late November or December. How is that even, how is it possible that he returned and tried to play, and it's like we're still waiting for this guy, and he probably won't be back until December?
I'm not waiting for him.
That feels crazy,
You know who it is?
right?
You know who it is rest away? Tez Johnson, Emeka Egbuka, Cameron Johnson, Sterling Shepard, Cade Otton.
Yeah.
Until Mike Evans. There's no expectation level for Chris Godwin to do a damn thing for my fantasy team this year. Zero.
Yeah.
Late November, early December, it's over. Late November, early December. And would you even have the confidence? He returns week 14. You put him in your lineup?
No way. I mean,
No
at that
way.
point, everyone's back and healthy. Bucky Irving's back and healthy. Mike Evans back and healthy, right?
Yeah,
Emeka
I'm good.
Egbuka back and healthy.
I'm good.
He's just another cog in the machine at that point. I don't know
I'm good.
how involved he's going to be.
Let me just ask you,
crazy.
what was is his injury the same that Scadaboo suffered? Was it the same thing, the dislocated ankle, or was his?
No, he broke his fibula.
Okay, he broke his fibula. It wasn't his ankle. It wasn't a dislocated. Okay, he broke his fibula.
He broke his fibula, and I think he had ligament damage.
Didn't they
within
say
there
once
as
your
well.
bone heals, like you should be good to go and ready to play, and once it's healed up, you're good?
For the most part, yeah. It depends on the ligament damage, right? And that was the same conversation with Scadaboo, was how bad is the ligament damage and how quickly can it return, and how it's strengthening around that ligament because the bone will heal, right? But it's how confident is he? And I think that's the interesting thing that's about this Chris Godwin injury, is they obviously felt confident enough that he was practicing and healthy enough to return to the field. But to return to the field is one thing, and then to also have we're talking about a 8-week setback at this point, because he's been out basically since week 4 or week 5, I think is when he returned.
Yeah.
Because he returned just after the window to return and everything, and they didn't put him on IR and all that kind of stuff, and he returned just after that, but he hasn't played. So it's how are you getting this player back and on the field to then have him miss almost 2 months, and it probably will be almost 2 months by the time he returns? That to me is just it's just gross mismanagement on the part of the Buccaneers, or the re-injury was that severe for Godwin, and maybe it was.
JayRich, we've got to I want to go back. Okay, go back a topic, because people ask this question: are you worried about Brian Thomas long term? Are you worried about BTJ long term? I see a lot of people have too many BTJ shares, traded him for Breece Hall straight up. Joe's in the chat. Shout out Joe. She said, not worried, but I also don't have a lot of BTJ. Hell yeah, I'm worried about BTJ. What are your thoughts? Are you worried about Thomas Jr. long term?
I think you should be a little bit. I mean, we talk about this a lot when you talk about coaching changes, regime changes with GMs. From the moment this guy's been a part of the Cohen-Gladstone system, he's grossly underperformed based off of what they expected kind of walk into this situation. They walked into the situation and said, okay, we have a number 1 wide receiver who's one of the best young receivers in football. And that's what he showed on the field last season. And now he's looking like a shell of that at best. He's looking like 10 to 20% of what he was last year. His confidence is shot. He's not playing very well. He can't catch passes. He's probably not even playing very well within the system. And they're making moves to once again add pieces around him so he doesn't have to play. Now, he is injured. But getting Travis Hunter and the transition from him being the 1 was already a sign that's not great. Then they add Jacoby Myers. And there's also reports they want to retain Jacoby Myers, right, beyond this season and extend him. So I think you need to be worried, because it's just, when was the last time you heard a positive report about Brian Thomas Jr. within this Cohen system and within this offense? And I think it was truthfully a long time ago. And until you start to hear positive reports about Brian Thomas, I don't think you're going to have any more faith that he can return to form within this Cohen system.
I haven't looked it up yet, but this is just my vibe football talk with me. I think 2 things can be true. My honest answer to this is I'm not worried about him long term, but I also don't believe he's the elite wide receiver 1 that we thought he could be. Okay? I think he is kind of what he is when things are going well. And if you go back to his collegiate profile, he has never once operated like the number 1 receiver on his team until last season, right? And we know that situation completely flipped. He played all 17 and he was outstanding. 133 targets, 1,200 yards. He was 10 touchdowns. Incredible rookie season. if this coaching staff did truly have that type of faith and confidence in him to be that number one moving forward, I don't think they would have traded a future draft pick and drafted Travis Hunter number 2 overall. You don't do that for a complimentary player, right? T. Higgins had a really good rookie season with Joe Burrow in 2020. They had the opportunity to upgrade that the following year in 2021, and they drafted Jamar Chase top 5 in the NFL, or wherever Chase went, 6th, 5th overall. But that was the one. I think the team kind of said, they looked at what they looked at and said, this is a good player, but we can upgrade this position. I think he's good, but not, I think he's a good receiver. I think he can be a fringe level Pro Bowl receiver, but he feels more like the 1,000-yard, 1,100-yard ceiling receiver than what people were thinking that we would get this year is like 1,500 yards. Like it's just going to keep going up. I just think my expectation for his long-term outcome has shifted. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's a receiver that's going to go out there and give you one of them special 1,600-yard season. And I know that seems crazy, but that is what a CeeDee Lamb, a Puka Nacua, a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, they've done that. I just don't think he's in that tier. And the team is they're kind of telling you that. They're kind of telling you, and it's a new offense. It's a new situation from a regime that did not pick him. And you see that happen. I just don't think that what we thought we were going to get after his rookie season, I just don't know. Right now, it's hard for me to see and believe that that's what we're going to get from Brian Thomas Jr. moving forward throughout his career. Am I worried that he's a bust? He's not going to play. He's not going to have big games? No, I think he is, but he settles in to a lower tier range for me. I think he's I think he's a little lower than like where Devontae Smith is. Wherever Smitty's at, Brian Thomas 21. Jr. would be underneath that. Like he's inside that cluster right there for me.
Well, let me give you a range. I'll talk about this range. And this kind of, as you're talking through this, it gave me, some other things I wanted to bring up here. So Brian Thomas Jr. in the same range as T. Higgins, same range as Jalen Waddle, same range as Devontae Smith, right? Same range as Jordan Addison. And I think the interesting thing about all those players is, what would you say about those players? They're probably not wide receiver ones.
Probably
not. With the offenses, right? But we like them all, and they're all very good receivers.
Yes.
What is the variable that makes these players valuable or not valuable? And Devontae Smith was the player I actually thought of first when I think about valuable versus not valuable within an offense. What is the
quarterback?
It's quarterback play and volume. T. Higgins is good because quarterback play is good and volume is very good. Jalen Waddle is not good because quarterback play is not good and volume is typically not very good. Devontae Smith, we know he is a very good receiver. He's probably a better receiver than Brian Thomas Jr. is, even in terms of just like what he can do on the football field. But the quarterback play is limited and the volume is limited. So players within that wide receiver 2 range, and I think Brian Thomas Jr. now kind of falls within that very solid, talented wide receiver 2 range. It's all going to come down to is who is your quarterback. Can you ascend up to a high-end wide receiver 2 because your quarterback play is good and the volume is there? And in the case of Brian Thomas, the quarterback play is not good and the volume is probably not going to be there for this receiver. So at that point, you are a Devontae Smith, you are a Jalen Waddle, you are a Zay Flowers, even potentially, depending on how you feel about him. You are a Xavier Worthy. And the other player I thought of when you talked about Brian Thomas Jr. was Jamison Williams. And Jamison Williams does play in a good offense with a pretty good quarterback, but it's the sporadic volume, the boomer bust nature that you get. That's kind of where I think he falls within. And if he's going to be the 2, he's going to be even probably further down that board because of Trevor Lawrence.
And here's the thing. I don't know if the Jags have a 1 on the team. I'm not convinced that it is Travis Hunter. I'm not convinced that it is Jacoby Myers. I think there's a bit of a problem, an offensive identity crisis with the pass catchers in Jacksonville. I think it's a little bigger than BTJ. It's also Cohen's first year in a new system, and I think he probably quickly learned, who these guys aren't. As much as we dog them out because they're old and all this stuff, you know who they're probably not, and it operates differently. He ain't Mike Evans. He's not Chris Godwin, and that quarterback is not Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? Like, I know because right? What we did, you and I did it. Everybody in the goddamn chat did it. Everybody on X did it. Oh, Cohen, just exactly what happened in Tampa Bay last year. The same thing is about to. Trevor Lawrence can do that. It's about to be Godwin and Evans, and then Strange could be a better version of Otten, and then you've got the new Bucky Irving and Basil Tootin, and none of that shit has come to fruition. Tootin ain't no Bucky, T-Law ain't no Baker, Hunter and Brian Thomas are not even close to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin last year. Expectations were all wrong. They were all wrong. They were all off, Jay. So I think am I worried about him? Yeah, if you thought that you were getting Mike Evans, you're probably really worried. But seeing it now, I just don't think he's there. This isn't Tampa Bay. He's not those guys. So he moves down. He's not an elite wide. And I think that just shows how special those Amon-Ra, CD, Puka, Chase, like those players who can do that, that is why they are ranked and prioritized so high. Because they can do something that very few are capable of doing, and that's why they're the elite cream of the crop.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's the big difference is that when you're that good, it doesn't matter what the situation is. Like, people are always going to want that player, and the volume is always going to be there. It's when you're not necessarily that good that things start to change.
I mean, Joe said, what happens if Jacoby is given a 3-year contract next year from the Jags if he balls out?
It seems like that's their intention. You don't trade a 4th and a 6th round pick for a player who's a rental, in my opinion.
No.
You can if you want, but I think I think they should try to extend him. I think the plan is to try to, unless he's really bad, doesn't fit the offense or whatever, I think the plan should be to try to extend him. And I think that's a good idea because then you would have Hunter and BTJ and Jacoby, and that's a pretty solid offense. And then Parker Washington will probably also fit into that as well. Like, it's a pretty good complement of weapons and playmakers for Trevor Lawrence. How it all works, we'll see. But I think it's a good complement of players.
Yeah. All right. What else you want to touch on before we get out of here? I'm looking at the BTJ was a lesser GP when he came out, in my opinion, and he's settling into that role. Very limited route tree. Yeah, his tree was limited at LSU. His tree was limited at LSU. Jefferson is great. You can tell me you want him. You can't tell me you want him in that situation. I'm not buying that. I'm talking about Jefferson's, production that he's had. Has any wide receiver ever had a great season with Trevor Lawrence? T. Higgins,
Not really,
I guess.
No.
T. Higgins back in 2019.
Hunter Renfrow pretty good with Trevor Lawrence.
Hunter Renfrow, he was good with Watson too. And then Kevin hit the nail on the head. Copy paste Bucks to Jags, just like copy paste Lions to Bears. And we see that it is not the Detroit Lions offense. There is no Amon-Ra St. Brown inside of that offense. We probably got to stop doing that shit, JayRich. We probably should stop doing that, right? Moving forward.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's... The thing is that for me is the foresight is there. You're like, well, you know what this guy's done. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, though, right? Like, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. No. I'm calling it. There was no talk of we can talk about the foresight, but we were saying the shit was going to happen. This is this guy's role in this offense, and it's going to be plug and play. We were not mild. I'm being real. You and I were like, oh, no, man. I was with you. I thought it'd work out very well.
Cohen, all of them. You know who we didn't?
The problem is, though, right? And this is where...
You know who we didn't like? That Steichen. That getting that Daniel Jones. Buried that Dimes at the start of the season with Steichen. Hey. Buried him. Hey, shouldn't even be on the field. Should have been your boy, Anthony Richardson, on the field, not Dimes.
Hey, I picked him to win that opening game against Miami. You remember that, right?
I don't.
My best call all season.
Probably your best call. You want to get
into Shanny versus McVay?
What?
Shanny versus McVay? Battle
Shanahan
for the
McVay.
NFC West?
I thought you were speaking Spanish. Shanahan versus McVay. Yeah, let's talk about it. I'm
very excited.
If we're gonna get wild here, the last few minutes of the show. Okay. Mac Jones beats the Rams again. What's his outcome next year? I'm going right to it. Is Mac a starting quarterback in the NFL in 2026? He gets this game because he's probably going back to the bench after this, right? Brock Purdy's probably back in week 11.
See. So Brock Purdy is potentially going to suit up. Shanahan or whoever reported
he's not going to play.
Said, "Well, can you let me finish?"
Sorry.
You did this last week with Travis Hunter too. They are going to figure out today whether or not Brock Purdy's going to start, and they said he's probably going to suit up regardless of whether or not he's a starting quarterback. But they said yesterday after practice that today we're probably going to find out whether Purdy's going to be the starting quarterback against the Rams on Sunday. So he could start. There's potential for him to start. He's been getting in limited practices again this week. There is potential for him to start, and he's probably going to suit up in this game. When you talk about Mac Jones, though, I think at this point, he is the starting quarterback of the 49ers because he's probably going to start more games. Not for the foreseeable future. But when you talk about is Mac a starter, he's starting. He's been the starting quarterback for the 49ers for more than half the season. Brock Purdy will come back and will be the starter. But Mac has shown he is starter caliber. The question is that what does it cost to get him? And are the 49ers willing to deal him for that probably second round pick, multiple third round picks, whatever it's going to cost? It will cost a considerable amount because he is under contract for next season. And then the other side is if you are the 49ers with Brock Purdy dealing with all these injuries, you probably want to retain Mac Jones in case something like this happens again. You know you have a competent starter behind him. But who starts and who wins? I think the Rams win. I think the Rams are going to split in this series. I don't think they can lose another game to the 49ers and feel good about where they're at. They played some of the best football all year, and the worst game they probably played the entire season was that game against San Francisco and Mac Jones. I think the defense is playing great. Love Matt Stafford leading the NFL in touchdowns. We know that Puka Nacua is going to be playing in this game and should be good to go. At that point, I just like the Rams too much. I think they're going to ultimately get a big victory on the road.
6-2, 6-3. It's a big game. It's a big game. Christian McCaffrey, what a truck this year, right? We continue to talk. First in the league in carries, JayRich. Old man
Do you want him
McCaffrey.
or James Cook, right?
You said what?
Do you want him or James Cook? Is he still your wide receiver 5 or your running back 5?
Who's that, CMC? Get the hell out of here.
You buried him, bro, when we did that.
How did I bury him? How did I bury him? I said he was a top 5 running back. How did I bury him?
Yeah. And I said I'd have him at 2 or 3.
You said you'd have him at RB2. That's what you said. And I said I'm not doing that. I said I'm not having him at RB2.
He's what, second in the NFL in receptions? He's second in the NFL in receptions?
Is he second in the league in catches?
He was whenever we talked about, I think, either last week or maybe it was on Monday. But yeah, he's up there, man. He's right there with Chase.
You said Shador's back at practice. Where's not? We haven't talked Shador in a while. Shador's back at practice, man. The stuff that's happening in Cleveland, it is. Did you see what their GM is going to go be? The Rockies,
the Colorado Rockies GM.
The Rockies, yeah. That Paul, but yeah. Somebody in the chat confirmed that 100%. So whoever's helping run the Browns. He got hired to go run the Colorado Rockies too, so I guess he's in a great. I guess he's running both squads.
Bad franchises just running each other.
Yeah, I heard the Rockies are not good, right, JayRich?
The Rockies are awful. They are terrible, man.
The only thing I want to say in this one, I think Quinshon Judkins has RB1 upside this week. RB1 overall upside. This is a Jets team. You throw Quinn Williams out of the mix, Sauce Gardner's out of the mix. We know the Browns can't throw the ball anyway. This defense should apply some pressure on Justin Fields. I am expecting a big Quinshon Judkins week.
Okay. I can't disagree with you there. We both picked the Browns. I don't know what the Jets are going to do. Maybe Justin Fields is going to have a big game against this Brown defense.
Is Fields starting? Do we know that Fields is starting?
Ray, come on. You think
Aaron Glenn ain't telling me nothing, man. I'm just asking.
Who's starting for the Jets? No chance. We'll find out just when everyone else does, probably on Sunday. But yeah, I think he's probably going to start. I mean, he got a win last week. Had a pretty good performance. Probably should be the starter. But we'll see. We'll see. Aaron Glenn, man, he's got to keep that competitive advantage.
Wow.
Stupidest shit I've ever seen.
It's Paul DePodesta, which is he was the Browns chief strategy officer since 2016. So he's been stealing money from the Browns since 2016, and
has he ever?
And I guess about to go fleece the Colorado Rockies right now. Jay, any other games you want to touch on before we get out of here, man? Anything else that's
Did you want to touch on Monday night?
Nah, we can talk Monday night. We talk Monday night on Monday's show. Tell
the people why you think the Pittsburgh Steelers can beat the Chargers.
Because their defensive line and their defense versus decimated Chargers offensive front. Because the Chargers have only gotten 2 wins without Joe Alt on the field this season. Joe Alt's out for the season. It's a drastically different team. It's almost like a 6-point differential when he's not on the field for the Chargers. I know you love you some Justin Herbert. I know you love him to death, right? If Pittsburgh's defense goes out and plays the way they did versus Indianapolis, they'll beat Los Angeles on the road.
Yeah, but then you're also saying that Daniel Jones or Justin Herbert's going to play like Daniel Jones.
I'm not. If they can't protect, he could. Aaron, no, I mean,
I agree with you on the protection. It's going to be a big problem, but it's been a big problem for Herbert the entire season.
It's a bigger problem when they don't have Joe Alt. Like this dismissiveness of Joe Alt is a little misplaced.
I'm not dismissing it. I've never dismissed it.
Well, then tell me. Well, you tell me why they're going to beat Pittsburgh, since I know what you're trying to do.
Sucks, man. They're terrible. You completely ignore how bad this Pittsburgh offense is.
How do I ignore you? Ignore everything. How am I ignoring anything? I didn't say anything about the Pittsburgh. I didn't say they were great.
Woes for the Chargers. Since the moment Rashawn Slater got hurt, I've acknowledged the offensive line woes. Justin Herbert running for his life back there. But the Pittsburgh Steelers suck offensively. They are not a good offensive football team. And so if Justin Herbert doesn't make the same mistakes that Daniel Jones did and turn the ball over 5-6 times, I don't think the Steelers have a great shot of winning this game. Some of their biggest wins, and especially in close games, have come in games where they've turned the ball over multiple times. Against New England, they turned the ball over 5 times. Against Indianapolis, they turned the ball over 5 times. They seem like quality wins, but if you take those turnovers away and you play in a much more neutral situation where Herbert's not turning the ball over 5 times, I do think the Chargers can ultimately come away with a victory.
All right, let me go to chat before we get out of here. Herbert goes crazy. Gadsden 6 for 85. Yeah, Gadsden should have a day. Oronde Gadsden, let's go. Vidal is cooked. QB for the Jets running for their lives. Respect Rodgers. JayRich, as a Steelers fan, fire up Gadsden and Ladd. Steelers winning though. Pittsburgh will have home field advantage on the road. Herbert gonna get hit. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I got bread. Say everybody tapping to Kansas UNC college basketball tonight. Darren Peterson. Hey man, I've heard this NBA class is supposed to be real good. We're getting out of here now, but I've heard the freshmen in college basketball are bringing it back. That they're very good. I've watched no college basketball, JayRich, but I keep hearing it's a great NBA draft. The only thing I saw was Cayenne Anthony out there for Syracuse, and that just lets me know how old I am because I remember watching Melo his freshman season with D. Brown and company at Syracuse. Go get that chip with what was his name? What was the head coach of Syracuse name?
Who, Jim Boeheim?
Jim Larinaga. Was that his name?
No, it's
was
Jim
that
Boeheim.
his name? Who was his name?
Jim Boeheim, I'm pretty sure.
Jim Boeheim. Who's Larinaga? That's another coach, but yeah, Boeheim. Coach Boeheim. All right, hit the music, Jay. Hit the music.
have no idea who Jim. Whatever
he's a coach. You think I'm playing? Jim Larinaga?
Who's that?
Yeah, he was a coach for he coached at Miami. So I just had to
I legit thought you were going to say he was a coach at my high school.
No, he's not.
Why the hell would anyone know
coach at high school? He was a college basketball coach. He was at Bowling Green, George Mason.
Yeah, right. How has the NBA been this season? I haven't tuned in. It seemed pretty shit so far.
Wemby's dope. Watching him do stuff. The Mavs aren't very good. The Lakers are playing well. Austin Reeves balling out. They're talking about giving him big time money.
Where's LeBron at, Ray? This guy's on a sabbatical.
We don't need him right now. At this, we need him for the playoffs. It's like Brett Favre with the Vikings, right? We just come in for the playoffs. AR and Luka get us there. Don't worry about that. All right, appreciate y'all pulling up. Make sure you check out the content on the channel. Once again, next Wednesday, our premium live stream event, the whole squad, the whole crew, 3 hours, all things Dynasty, fantasy, football. Make sure you pull up on Wednesday. That will be on DDFFB. Check out my show yesterday, posted right here on this channel, talking through the 2026 wide receiver class, how good that is compared to 2025, and then trust the Trinity before week 10. All right, Jay, good show, man. Good week. Appreciate you, dude.
Appreciate it.
Hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy college football. Enjoy the NFL. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out. And make sure y'all wake y'all asses up with us bright and early on Monday morning. Good luck. We out. Peace.